The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Greetings from Desktop Central. Are you able to hear my voice and view the presentation? Please confirm by commenting on chat. It's a 7-week series of free training, and now we are in week 3. The below URL, which you could see here, has the recording of the previous webinar, so you can make use of it for your future purpose. About me, so my name is Leonard. I have industry experience of 10 years, and out of which 6 years with ManageEngine, and I predominantly assist customers in implementing Desktop Central, OS Deployer, and mobile device management respectively. Well, so we're joined here to talk about asset management. And let's quickly get into the agenda of what we have for the asset management. So we are going to have a quick overview about how asset management works. And this webinar is designed based on problem and solution approach, considering a different kind of expertise, like moderate and advanced users. And to explain the feature, I've taken 3 scenarios from my support experience. As you could see, number 1, I would be managing the Microsoft Office 2016 licenses. Scenario 2, controlling bandwidth spikes and non-standard applications. And number 3, planning for Windows 10 upgrade, followed by a few quick scenarios and solutions. Finally, questions during the presentation, and you may pose the questions once we are done with each module, and our expert panel would be addressing your questions then and there. So Desktop Central supports all these 3 operating systems of Windows, Mac, and Linux. And we have a large customer base who contribute to the community by categorizing their applications as commercial. Right now, we have 13,000 and growing applications supported by Desktop Central. Now let's talk about the architecture of Desktop Central. So as you could see here, Desktop Central is a client and server model. And Desktop Central can be installed in the local office, and the agents are installed into all client computers in the local office. Installing Desktop Central agent on client is a one-time job. Once it's installed successfully, then the upgrade of the Desktop Central agents are automatically taken care of by the server. And agents would be contacting the Desktop Central server periodically to pick the task. And Desktop Central supports the LAN, WAN, which is going to be your remote office or branch office, and even the roaming users, like users always on the go, and we also call them as a road warriors. So it's recommended to have distribution server for remote offices to save the bandwidth. Distribution servers are installed on the remote office, which would be replicating softwares, patches, and scripts to the remote office for the WAN agents to access locally. And for roaming users, can access the Desktop Central server through VPN, it's a virtual private network, or by NATing, like network address translation. And you need to open the required ports on the server side, which ensures the computers are managed accordingly. And these are the ports which are going to be used, and Desktop Central uses various ports as you could see. For example, the 8020 and 8383 is going to be for the communication between the agent and the server, and similarly the 8027 and the other ports as it's given, these are going to help to manage Desktop Central with a smooth communication. Well, so let's talk about the 90 minutes of refresh policy here. So we need the Desktop Central agents to contact the server once in a 90 minutes. And Desktop Central agent would be contacting this for every 90 minutes, and this process is called the agent refresh cycle. This is to ensure that all computers in the network contact the server periodically. And two important factors are ensured over here. Number one, network is not choked by agent communication, meaning bandwidth is not disturbed due to agent-server communication. Number two, the performance of the server is not affected at any time. Server has an intelligence to ensure systematic, streamlined communication from all agents at regular interval. To make it more simple and understandable, let's take an instance of a network. So let's take an instance of a 90 computers network. So in a 90 computers network, one computer will reach out to Desktop Central server per minute. And if you look into the 900 computers network, so 10 computers will reach out the Desktop Central server per minute. And going forward with a large network of 9,000 computers, 100 machines will reach out the Desktop Central per minute. So the objective here is it's going to help you to contact the server without affecting any kind of your network bandwidth and network overhead. So let's go get into the engine room of asset management to see what we have inside the asset management, how this exactly works in order to populate the license details and all other inventory information. So here, scanning is going to be an important task for asset management. So whenever you do the scan, the agent will collect the computer hardware, software, data, and warranty details together and post to the server. When a scan is performed for a very first time, it takes the complete data of the computer, like hardware, software, warranty together, and subsequently the same scan is called differential scan, which should post only the changes made from the last successful scan on hardware and software. So this would drastically reduce the bandwidth being used by Desktop Central agent for data posting. And this can be initiated on demand from the server and can also be scheduled by the administrator. An agent has the intelligence to trigger the scan whenever there is a change and update to the server. So meaning if any client machine is coming up with any kind of changes on its hardware and software, the changes are going to get sensed by Desktop Central, and those changes are going to be updated to Desktop Central server. Well, so now I'm going to take you to the scenario 1 to make it more clear and to convert the feature of managing license to your benefit. So to explain in a better way, imagine I'm an administrator of my organization, and my responsibility is to install and manage the software licenses. As you know, Office 2016, which I've taken as a specimen application over here in order to explain how to manage the license. So Office 2016 is one of an important application most widely and commonly used in all organizations. And even in my organization, it's extensively used by all departments. So recently, my organization has purchased 20 Office licenses to install for our finance team. Well, so let me show you how this could be done with the help of Desktop Central. So I'm going to take you to the product of Desktop Central. And here we go. This is the inventory. In the inventory homepage, in the left pane, you could see Manage License. And here you can see all the license details. Let me show you how to add a license. You can go and select the license, Add License option. If you know the application name, you can specify the application name, else you may go with the Select Applications. So this Select Application is going to help you to choose which application you want to select. For example, if you want to have an office, you can choose the office. It's going to furnish all the details about the office, and you can choose an office and you can go ahead. So it's going to happen. Well, for the benefit of the time, I've already created a license for you so that I don't want to take much of the time. So I'm just going to show you how this is going to be possible. So I'm just going to modify the settings in order to explain you in detail. So here we go. So once you perform the Microsoft Office application input, all the other details are going to be shown here. And please choose your owner name, the number of license, and we automatically trigger the license name. And this is going to be done for or used for the internal tracking. And you can specify the other details. And you may also specify the purchase date and expiry date. And this date is going to help us in future in order to identify when this license is going to get expired or we need to renew. So let me show that later at the end of the session. So coming down, you can choose the files, like if it's going to be an e-file for license and invoice, just give it, specify any comments, and come down and save the license. So that's going to be the simple method. Fine. So we do have something called install computers and manage computers. So what does it mean by install computer? So if you know that where this application is installed, you can choose the install computer and you can go ahead and you can select the computer and you can just associate it to the machines. And managed computers. So think of it like I haven't purchased, like I haven't installed the application yet in my network, but I have purchased the software. I know to whom I need to install, meaning like I have purchased, for example, I purchased this Office 2016 for 10 users, and I haven't installed it in my network. So I can go down here, choose the users, and I can associate this license. When I click on it, it's going to be moved. So I can associate the license now itself before installing it in my network. So likewise, it can use, but still you don't need to get confused. If you're not sure about in which machine it is installed or in what machine I'm going to install if I purchase an application which is not installed in the network, you can simply save it without making any changes. So we have the ability to identify in how many machines this Office 2016 is available. And that shows the details over here. It will give you the complete information of the license. Fine. So now, so I have successfully added the 25 users license and I'm just managing it. And I want to give you some information here which you could see, which is known as the license complaint status. So what is meant by complaint status? So there's a kind of a term which we use in order to identify how effectively this license has been used. So let's talk about the in compliance. So in compliance, the number of license purchased is equal to the number of installation in the network is known as in compliance. Meaning, if I purchase 25 license, if I'm installing it onto 25 machines, that's called as in compliance, which means I satisfied the rule. So over licensed, the number of license purchased is more than the number of installation in the network is known as over licensed. So meaning, I have purchased 8 license, whereas I haven't installed any license. Or I have purchased 2 license, I have installed it to only 1 machine, so still I have 1 machine in my hand, which I can use this for my future purpose. So that is called as over license. And we do have something called under license. So the number of license purchased is less than the number of installation in the network is known as under license. Meaning, you could see here I purchased only 100 license, but I haven't installed it only on 100. I have installed it on 151 machine, whereas I'm just breaching the license rule of exceeding with 51 computers. So if I go down here, I could see all the machines. And the other advantage in Desktop Central licenses, if this machine is not entitled to have this license, I can go ahead and uninstall the application right from here in order to make my license in compliance to avoid any kind of penalty. So in compliance is going to help me to manage this situation well. So coming back to my scenario. So I have added 25 users, and now my finance team is coming up with 4 new users to add this license. So new 4 users are coming to my finance team, and they want me to manage this Office 2016 on those 4 machines, meaning I need to install it onto those machines. So I don't have enough license in my hand since it's in compliance. I need to go for a new purchase. But before I go for the new purchase, since I'm having Desktop Central, how I can effectively use Desktop Central in order to minimize my costing onto the license purchase? Well, let me show you how this could be feasible by going into the software metering. The software metering is a kind of a feature which helps you to identify how effectively an application is used in the network. So in order to manage this report, we are going to add a rule. Specify the application name. Again, we have all the benefits for you. You can just go search for the application which you want to fetch and add that application and furnish all the details. I have already created a rule for you, so you can just see how this is going to be shown. So this is how the rule is created. So you need to specify the rule name and the file name. It's going to be the original file name. So you need to specify the file name and the other details. And the file name, how to fetch the file name. So you can go to the location where this application is installed, right-click the properties, and check for the original file name so you can see the file name. So you may specify that file name because agent is going to fetch this information from each machine and provide the detail. So once all this information is furnished, you can go ahead. You can see this rule. I'm choosing this rule and I can enable it. So when I enable it, every machine, like every agent, is going to collect this information from server on its next contact and goes back, and it will wait for the usage of the application. So in whichever machine the Office 2016 is installed, it's going to search for this application. It tracks all the application detail when it's open, closed, and based on that, it's going to get the report. And this report is going to be sent only by end of the day. So meaning we don't want to post the data then and there in order to choke the network. So this is going to wait for the whole day. By midnight, it's going to post the data to the server. On the next day, you would be getting the metering report for the specific application like this. And so this gives you in how many machines it was discovered, how many times it was used, and how long it was used. So you get every information over here. And you do have a column chooser in that side. And with the column chooser, you can also enable any other fields you'd like to make use of it. For example, the last updated, and you can just save. That's going to show you when it was updated. And when you click on this information, it also gives you the detail about in how many machines this application is effectively used. So I could see some single-digit users. So I'm going to pick any of those 4 users from this place, and I'm going to apply the license. I'll talk to the concerned department head and revoke the license and provide the license for my new 4 users to achieve my task. So likewise, I'm going to succeed on my task well. And going forward, after 6 months later, my HR team approached me to install this 25 Office 2016 on 25 other users who are new joinees in the same finance team. So now I don't have any other choice. I need to go for a new procurement. So in that condition, I've gone for the new procurement, and I need to add the license. So I don't have to go back and choose this add license to make it from the scratch because I'm already managing the license for 2016. I'm going to add more. So you can just come to the actions column. You have an actions column. You can come to the actions column and you could see here of add more. When you click on the add more, so I'm going to add the number of purchase, what my HR tool, it's 25 again. And I'm going to choose the license date as today and 2018. I do not know who are the due 25 users, so I'm just simply going away and adding it as 25. And here we go. You could see here the 50 license is added, and it was in compliance earlier. But now we have added 25 license, which is not yet installed in any of the machines, so it's going to be shown as the over license. And I'm going to click on the Office 2016 in order to see when this Office was added. You can see here, it provides me the current date. Well, so this is how I have succeeded by adding more license in for the new joinees for the financing. Well, so now I have different versions of applications over here. You can see here I'm having a lot of Office applications which is given to different departments based on the choice and based on the requirement. So now it's very tedious for me to look into all these applications. I want to group everything in order to have a single and simplified eligible view to make things easy. So I'm going to use group software in Desktop Central. So this is going to help me to show how I can manage all these applications in a one single group. So I have already created this group like this. Specify the group application. If you have any different versions of application, please specify here and choose appropriate applications. Choose this option. This would automatically take care of the licensing for future versions. For example, if Microsoft comes up with any new version by this year of 2017 or by next year, so we can even add that version over here. It's going to take care of this licensing automatically. So likewise, we can use this grouping the software. Fine. Okay. So remember, I was referring you a report called renewal report, which we were trying to use adding the license. So I'm just going to show you the renewal reports over here. So when you go to the reports, inventory reports in the same inventory, in the left pane you can see the inventory reports. By going inside the inventory reports, you can see there is a report called licenses to be renewed. Click on this. It shows you the application detail in the summary view, and it gives you the detail view. You can choose the license details, like when it is going to get expired. You can choose this license based on it, and you can have the license information over here. And this report is not only an on-demand report, it is also a scheduled report. So this is going to help you to send this report to your inbox periodically, and let's discuss later in the reports field. So this is how I was successfully able to manage my scenario 1 of managing licenses for Office 2016. So you may post your queries now in order to get addressed by our expert panel. And we are now moving on to the second module of controlling bandwidth spikes and non-standard applications. Well, so in order to put across with a quick scenario to make it more easy, let me create a scenario. Like in our last admin meeting in my company, there were two important things were discussed, and it was a major concern raised by my network administrator. Number one, a considerable amount of bandwidth was consumed in Desktop Central, leading to an application called GTalk. And number two, usage of unauthorized applications in the network, especially on the desktop, some desktops. So as an administrator, I am the responsible guy to address the situation and to take forward in order to address this scenario. I'm going to use Desktop Central to handle it. So let me show you how this is going to be handled in the product. Well, the same inventory, in the left pane you could see prohibited software. This prohibited software is going to help us to uninstall the unwanted applications which you are going to mark as prohibited. So this is going to help you to understand about how to uninstall. Before that, I just want to show you the architecture of how these applications are going to be uninstalled. So here we go. We are going to configure the software rules by adding the application, which seems to be an unwanted application in the network. And that application is going to be taken care by the agent on the next contact. It identifies the application name, goes back. It will check for the application, and it will post the information to the server where this application is used, in which machine it is used. And based on that, it is going to help us to automatically uninstall the application from Desktop Central Server, or we can input, like we can notify the users and uninstall it, or we can also raise a request for the software access, meaning the user can raise a request to use this application, so we can approve the user to go ahead and use this application. So these are the things which we can do over here. And let me take you to the product in order to show in reality how this is going to happen. So here we go. Adding a prohibited software. So this prohibited software is going to help us to uninstall the unwanted application which is available in the network. So please make note, only if the application is available in your Office network, those applications could be added here, and that can be chosen as this application, and we can select and we can move it over here and we can add it. So again, for the benefit of the time, I have already added the GTalk. So you can see here the GTalk is added. But when I was given with the information from my network team, like GTalk is the one which is consuming much of my network bandwidth. So I just want to know in which or in how many machines it's going to be installed. So for that, I'm going to use the inventory reports. So we have a report called inventory reports, in which we have software reports. Under the software reports, there is an exclusive report for computers with or without a specific software. I'm going inside this report, and I'm going to choose the domain. So it's my domain. So even if you have multiple domains, you can choose the common domain. Even this could be fetched, or this report could be published by using a custom group. I'm going to browse the application here, and it's all about of my GTalk. So I'm just going to search for that application of Google Talk, remove only, and choosing this application, generating the report. There we go. I have quite a considerable amount of users using this application in my network. So I've got an idea about in how many machines it's available, and I also have an option of exporting this to my PDF, CSV, and XLS in the right side. And so using this option, I can go ahead, I can use this, and I can get a report and do things right away. So now, since we are in this report, I just want to show you some other hidden things in this report which could really help you. So for example, see, I'm looking into the Google Talk. Think of it, I have known in these many machines the Google Talk is installed. If you want to know in which machines the Google Talk is not installed, so that we can go ahead and install this application just for the scenario, we can go ahead and use this does not equal. And if I generate the report, here we go, I get the report instantly and immediately with 19 machines are not with the Google Talk installed in the machine. So I can make use of the other feature in Desktop Central called software deployment. I can install the applications to these target machines. And we do have the other side of reports like, which means it takes any one single string and goes with it. For example, if anything starts, any application that starts with Google or Talk, it's going to show all the applications. So similarly, the like and not like will be helpful for you. Well, so let's go back to the inventory in order to go into our main requirement of identifying the GTalk. So here we go. So the Google Talk, as you could see, it's on 150 machines. So I need to uninstall this application now. So in order to uninstall this application, you could see we have given you different installer type like MSI and EXE. MSI does not require anything. As you can see here, the uninstall command action column does not have anything. It's not applicable. But you could notice that in all EXEs, you could see something called not configured. Not configured. So what does it mean? As you know, MSI is a Microsoft installer package which is completely bundled with all its associated files and silent switches, so which means it does not require any silent switch to uninstall. So we can go ahead and uninstall. Once we add the application, all the MSI are going to get removed based on your choice, how you take it up for uninstallation process. But when it comes for the Google Talk, we have to provide the switches. So all EXE application has its own silent install, uninstall commands which has been derived by their own manufacturer, the respective manufacturer. So likewise, I'm just going to click on this not configured. I've already configured here, so you can see here. So it automatically fetches this information from the registry of the machine, and all we need to do is provide the appropriate silent switch and save it. So that's going to be saved. And this is going to uninstall this application. Well, I'm going to uninstall this application, and this uninstallation is going to happen using auto uninstall policy. You could see here a 5 number of applications could be uninstalled on the next startup. So this will ensure that 5 prohibited applications will get uninstalled in the next reboot, and it's recommended to always keep 5. If you exceed the number, so this may take more time to start up or to boot the machine after it boots, so it's going to take more time to uninstall the application. For that reason, it's recommended to have it 5. So based on this choice, it is uninstalled in all the machines in my network. Well, that's a good idea, and that's what my intention is, though I've uninstalled everything. But later on, I got bombarded with mails from my top management guys asking why this Google Talk has been uninstalled. So I realized, okay, something wrong. So I need to revert all the settings for those managers. I chose configure global exclusion. This configure global exclusion is going to help me to select a custom group or a domain with the computers, and I can choose my managers over here and save it. That's it. It's going to help me to exclude those machines not to fall under this prohibited software list. So they can install any application they want, and they will not be falling under this prohibited software rule. Fine, that's good. So going forward, I got a request from my sales team stating that, hey, our team was using this Google Talk in order to interact with the prospects and the customers for the business purpose, and now their machines are no longer with the Google Talk. So they have requested me to go with the Google Talk, and with the appropriate instance, I'm just going and adding them over here. So I'm just configuring it. When you click on this configure, it will ask you to whom you want to allow. So again, you can choose the sales team where I already added, and from the domain, I just added them. So henceforth, after installing Google Talk, my sales team is applicable to use this Google Talk in the network. Well, that's good. But going forward, as you already mentioned here, we also have an option of user notification. So I know one guy in my network who's John, who's also a part of a different team, but he is also using an application, and that application was filtered in this prohibited software. So he got an alert with this help. So which is nothing but user notification. I've just chosen the user notification later on after my experience with uninstalling without prior notification. So I have used this user notification. So this notification is going to be prompted to all my users, and let me show you how this notification is going to be like this. So as soon as the user logs into the machine, at the startup, the user will be getting this pop-up with this prohibited software message, and this is the message which I conveyed, and the user can input his or her own justification for the reason why this application is used in the network. And this is going to be shown to us, and that will be stored over here as a request. Using this option, I can go ahead. Under the Action tab, I can approve or I can deny. So these are all rejected, approved, and this is waiting for my approval. So when I click on this, you can see here, the application name will be prompted here. Who's the user who requested? And if the comment says deny, denied. But since I spoke to his team lead and he authorized me to approve it, so I'm approving it over here. And that's how it's approved, and he's able to use the application. Similarly, you can also come and check for all the applications, whatever you have here, in terms of prohibited software which was uninstalled in the Desktop Central, and you can get the detailed view of it. And going forward, you can also see what applications are termed as prohibited software and which machine it is installed. You can click on that machine to see what kind of applications are used as a prohibited software. So likewise, I have achieved my first goal of prohibited software to restrict in the network. Well, so still I'm pending with my second case of unwanted applications, like non-standard application which is available in the network. So how am I going to handle the situation? I'm going to use another feature, which is an extended version of prohibited software called block executable. As you know, there are some applications in the network which will not be listed in your add remove program, which is known as a non-standard application. So those applications would be running from any folder in any of the machine. They get executed, they trigger, they will do the task, whatever they want, and again, they'll be silent in the background. So those applications will not be identified by your application, any of the network scanner. So it is going to be inside your machine, which will not be listed in add remove program, so that we can, if it is available in add remove program, we could have used our software deployment option to uninstall it, but still it's not available. So what is the possibilities to arrest these applications? So we are going to use the block executable. How? By going inside the add policy. And I found an application called PSCP, which is going to be a kind of a rootkit file which is going to steal all the information and make some kind of network congestion in the network. So that file has been identified. So I'm going to block that file in order to stop launching the installation process. So for that, I'm choosing add executable. I can go ahead. I am just choosing the application name and the application extension width. I've added it. So here we go. I've added this application. I can map this application to the machines where I want to stop it. So these plays, this plays, what it shows over here is going to be the custom group. All computers group will be termed as all the machines in the network. So if you choose all computers group, it's going to reflect on all the machines in the whole domain. But if you're interested to take any one of the custom group, you can choose any one among them and you can use it, fine. So when I save this option, on the next contact, agent is going to pick up this information. It's going to track for this application. It will wait on each machine. The agent will be listening for this application's launch. If any of the user who is launching this application, the application is going to be blocked. Well, so this is going to be the normal operation. What happens if there is an expert user or the smart guys who will change the application name as abc.exe? So Desktop Central definitely cannot fetch that information because Desktop Central knows about the application name as PSCP, not the ABC. So in such condition, we have given you another option to show that we are more smarter than them by using the hash value. So as you know, every file has its own signature, which is created by the vendor. So using that option, I'm choosing the same application with a hash value of giving a version. I'm choosing the file from my network. and you got it here. This is the hash value. I'm just adding it. It's added. So once I save this option, now this settings is going to be available on the respective machines where I've chosen the target as, and they are going to track this application. Even if the application name is going to get changed based on the hash value, it's going to block the launch of this application. So by which I can successfully stop my whole network not to be accessible with this unwanted application. Well, so the two tasks which I have taken in my responsibility has been successfully achieved by using Desktop Central Prohibited software and block executable. Well, so by which we are coming to end of the second module. And if you have any kind of a questions, request you to please post it across in our chat, and our expert panel would be going forward addressing that. Well, so we are moving on to the third scenario of planning Windows 10 upgrade. Well, so again, I want to quote with an example, like my organization decided to upgrade the machines to Windows 10. As you know, most of the machines are on Windows 7 and 8, so we plan to go for the Windows 10 and requested me to generate a report on the eligible machines. So which machines are going to be eligible. So here, I need to check for certain things in order to make this Windows 10 upgrade possibility. So basically, I need to check for the machine. I need to check for the machine's hardware capability, the storage size, and obviously I need to go for some duration of the machine's license, like the warranty. So for that, I'm going to choose reports. And before the reports, I just want to show you some more reports over here. So we have in inventory the reports, and the same reports you can see over here, which is called the inventory reports. So these reports are going to be a predefined reports. These reports are already defined with a set of informations which you can make use of it. For example, computer by operating system, by which we came to know, okay, how many machine sets we have in different kind of platforms and different kind of flavors of operating system, I could see here. So this is something which is a predefined information which we bundle within the product. So you can make use of this report. And these reports, you can get these reports for all modules of hardware, software, the warranty for the machines, license for the software, and the other system reports for groups, services, and shares. So you can make use of this. But apart from this, I could not get any information from these reports to achieve my task to find the machine's eligibility for Windows 10 upgrade. So I'm choosing another report in the same reports called custom reports. So in this custom reports, I'm going to use a new custom report by which I can customize the report picking up my own choice of fields, columns, criteria. I can frame a complete report of my own choice. And since we are in this report, I just want to throw some light on this report, like computers. What is meant by computers? So any information which you'd like to get something about the computer, like the domain name, IP address, computer, and the agent status of the computer, and any information of the agent version or anything deals with the computer, overall computer, you can just get the report from here. And if you are looking for some report which is hidden inside the computer, like a hardware component, you can get the hardware component, like monitor or the MAC address or the memory, the disk drive. You can pull the report using this hardware. And you can choose the columns, which column you want, and the criteria, and you can frame the report according to your choice. Similarly, software. Software is going to help you to show all kind of the application detail, the version, the manufacturer details, and everything. So this report is going to help us to pull something. Well, but now I have created a report which is already available here. So just to let you know how this report looks like, I'm just going to show you how this report. So I've chosen a computer report, as I mentioned. And since it's going to be the Windows 10 upgrade, I want to see certain criteria which should match my checklist. The physical memory, which should be of more than 4 GB. I want to have my hard drive more than 100 gigs in order to have my Windows 10, which is going to be more than a gig, sit on the hard drive. And obviously the warranty. So I don't want to take compromise with my machines which are going to get expired by next month or by this year. So I'm just going forward with next year of expiry. Any machine which is going to be more than 2018, like more than a year, I'm choosing this for the Windows 10 upgrade plan. Coming down, I have chosen my list of columns, and I have the ability to move my columns up and down based on my choice, so which is going to be reflecting on the dashboard as you wish. So I have chosen everything. I'm just going to run the report. Here we go. I got a report of the machine, the memory size, hard drives, and the expiry date. Well, so this report is going to help me to get an idea of, okay, these are the machines which I'm planning to submit to my team. But still, I have something which is missing over here. I need to know in which department this machine is available. So I need to know about that task. So for that, I am going to another report. So I want to get the report to see my department. So according to my network, in my organization, OUs in AD are based on the department. So it's going to be very easy for me to figure out. So I'm just going back to the reports. I'm going to my OU reports, and I can see my all OUs to see the department. Fine. But again, I can see only this report, and this is going to help me to show only my reports, but I need the report along with my machine, along with my other details. But I cannot go with doing this because this is only shows me the report of OU. So in order to bridge, I'm going to use AD reports on OU and the other report. I want to bridge those details by using a custom query report. So any report which is not feasible or which you're not convinced by the predefined report or the custom report, you can go for a new query report, which is nothing but a report which you can customize constructing a SQL query, and this report is called a tailor-made report. So I can create a report based on my own choice, mood, and taste. So for this, I'm going to use this report, and if you know how to do that, you have given with the tips, you can go ahead. Else you can raise a request to us. In the right-hand side, you have a request, so we help you to construct a query and publish the report for you. You can make use of it. Well, so let's go back to the custom report to show you how this query report is. So here we go. I have already created a query report. I'm just going to show you the query report. So this is the query. So this is the query which we have constructed, and this is the report. Just nothing but I just want to know the exact information along with my department now. So I got the department, okay, it's in the sales department. So I have given this information to my reporting team to go forward and take necessary action in order to upgrade to the Windows 10. Fine. So this is how we have achieved this information, how to collect the reports and go ahead. And similarly, as I already mentioned, we have a lot of reports, and we also have the soon to expire warranty report, which you can make use of it to identify when a machine is going to get expired. So you can choose all the report like within 5 days or 2 months. You can select whichever you want, and you can also choose the option of the domain and even the custom group, and you can get the reports as you wish. And here I would like to end with one other information of scheduled reports. So we have something called scheduled reports, and these reports you can specify the scheduler name, a description on it. Coming down, we have given you a lot of reports. For example, I'm just choosing the inventory reports. I can go ahead and select the inventory of the computers by age and the license complaints report. I can choose the soon to expire machines, license to be renewed, and everything. So I can go ahead and choose this report. All the reports are going to be shown over here. And coming down, I have the reports format. So I can choose in which format I want this report. And this report is going to be sent as an attachment. So according to my network, my email attachment carries only 5 MB of file size. So I'm sorry, 8 MB. So I have just minimized it to the 5 MB. So I'm choosing this as an attachment. So this is going to be delivered to my inbox as an attachment for the given report. Well, that's good. So what happens is that if I'm going to choose more number of reports, like for example, all reports. So when it goes with all reports, the attachment may exceed the given size of 5 MB. So I need to go get this report. Similarly, I also get compromised as an attachment within the email. So I'm choosing this zip format. So this will compress the complete reports as a zip file and sends across to me. And if you want to go with the other reports of Active Directory, user logon reports, and other module reports over here, so what happens? Think of it. Even if you get all the reports zipped, it's definitely going to exceed the size. So for that, I would recommend to go with the URL method. So this is going to send the report as an URL into the email. You can specify to whom you want to send. You can also have multiple IDs. And this is going to send you the URL to the target users. When the user sees this URL, when they click on the URL, it's going to open up with a prompt to log into Desktop Central. So once they log into Desktop Central using the Desktop Central credentials, the reports will start get downloaded. So they can make use of the report. And finally, coming down, you can choose when you want to send the report. So to whom you want to send, when you want to send, you can choose the report, provide the details of when this report is going to be sent. For example, 10 o'clock of every Monday. So I will be having this report on every Monday by 10 o'clock in my inbox to get things done. So that's how we achieve things for the reports. Fine. So if you have any questions on this third module, please post your questions in order to get it answered. And by the way, we have completed the third module. And we are going to enter into the scenarios and solutions, which has been already discussed in most of the enterprise. So here we go. I want to proactively resolve hard disk space issues before the user reports them. Is this possible? Definitely it's possible. So we are going to go with the same reports and computers by hard disk under the inventory reports. You can choose the disk criteria and you can specify the disk criteria and you can proactively manage the disk space information before the user reports. I want to add additional information about my computers to the asset data. Is this possible? Yes, definitely it's possible. As you know, like we have providing you all the predefined information, but still you have the option to add all the information. So please go to the computers tab on the top left side under the inventory. You would be getting all the machine list over here. You could see a pen icon. So using this icon, you can go ahead, make use of it. When I click on it, that's going to show you the information. So this is going to be a customized information. You can input your own information about if you have any kind of a computer location, the owner, the search tag, email address, and everything. And we recommend not to touch the shipping date and expiry date because by default, Desktop Central helps you to identify and provide you the warranty information for the machines. So you may use it, and you can provide the notes, and you can do that. I understand that it's going to be tedious for you for adding all those for every machine. You may use the bulk update. So this bulk update is going to help you to choose importing from the CSV. So we have given you an example CSV. You can use it. So this example CSV should be in the same format. So it should be in the same format, and you have to use only in this format in order to get the things done. Well, now it's added, and you can start manage the add edit fields of the custom fields in your network. Fine. So we are moving on to the third scenario. So we have a policy to replace the computers older than 5 years. How do I get the list of those computers? So machines which are older than 5 years, you want to decommission those machines. Yes, we can go ahead. We can make use of it by going to the same report of inventory using the computers by age. So using this report, we get all the machines when they are created, meaning this report is fetched with the help of the BIOS. in the machine. So using that BIOS information, we fetch this information. You can go ahead and click on the machine details in order to see which machines, and you can make use of it. Shared directories with write actors is a security threat. Can we identify them? Definitely we can identify them with the help of the inventory reports again. So we can go to the shared details, by which it's going to show you the permission details of the shared where it is provided. Dropbox is installed at the user level and would like to get the list of computers that have it installed. How do I identify it? So Dropbox is going to be a kind of a user-based application which will not be available in any of the machines when you go inside the Arduino program. Only if the user logs in, that specific user logs in, that's going to be shown. So in order to identify this, we are going to check by the user-specific report, which is available under the software reports at the bottom. So this is going to show you who is the user and what is the application. So you get all the information about the user and thing. I want to identify the computers with the local administrator accounts. Is this possible? Definitely it's possible, again with the help of the inventory reports. So you have the system group users, and this is going to show you the administrator account details. I want to see the list of Mac-based application in the network and the details of such computer. Yes, we have it on the inventory homepage where you can go get the details, the computer by operating system report also. So you can see about the Mac OS and including the Linux detail. I want to run an internal audit in our company to identify computers like users who use movies, music files. How can I get this? Yes, it's possible by going down to the inventory. We have an option of scheduling the scan. You can choose the scan called file scan, and you can schedule the scan by which it's going to periodically scan on the given date and time in order to identify the user's file information. You can go to the file details and this will show you the file information accordingly. Is there a way to identify the various sizes of monitors, especially the desktop monitors available in my network? Definitely it's feasible, as I already mentioned. So we have the reports for custom reports in which we have created a report, and we already have this report of monitor details. So this is going to help you to show what is the monitor type and every detail. You can see the information. Like I've chosen the hardware, the type is going to be desktop monitor. Fine. So we have some frequently asked questions, which was commonly asked by most of the users. So we have just brought into your notification to discuss on this. So do we need to install both Asset Explorer agent and Desktop Central agent in all systems? We are having Service Desk Plus with System Tool plugin. Well, so it's not required to have all the agents. If you're having Desktop Central integrated with Service Desk Plus, then Desktop Central agent is enough for you to manage the whole network, because as I already mentioned, Desktop Central agent has the intelligent scanning feature. So it sends the machine's changes on hardware and software and posts the data to Desktop Central as well as to the Service Desk Plus. When you add a program to the prohibited software list, does it take all the version of the software into account? Do I need to update the prohibited software list every time a new version is released? Definitely, because if you think of it, if you're going to add Adobe as a prohibited software and you're just adding all the versions, so you may require Adobe 12, Adobe 13, Adobe 14, but you don't want Adobe 10 alone. So in such condition, this requirement will not get satisfied. So it will uninstall all the versions of Adobe. So for that reason, we provide you to go and check and select the version and add it to the prohibited list in order to uninstall it. If the software that you want to prohibit is not already on your network, how can I block it using Desktop Central? Well, so in order to use this option, like prohibited software is not installed but you want to block it, as we discussed the block executable, you can go and add it in the block executable and you can make use of it. So which will block the executables before it gets launched. What data is used to determine that a computer's warranty has expired? So we can go to the reports and we can see the information about the warranty machines, the soon-to expire warranty and expired warranty. So these reports are going to help us to find the warranty details. On the inventory report of computers with our specific software, how to specify filter criteria and schedule them well. So when we go to the reports, adding the schedule reports, so we're going to get the user-specific software from the inventory. Not only for the user-specific software, any software which you're using, you have an option. You can see here, there is a plus sign at the end, which is going to be according to the software type. So you have a columns which could be used. For example, if I'm having a remote office and I'm going to get the report only from my remote office. I don't want any other user-specific software. Yes, I can do that. You can see here. So similarly, that's going to vary based upon different kind of options. You can see here, which uses the total capacity. So based on that, you can choose the criteria, and you can go ahead and you can make use of this report to get things done. The System Central 9 detect what software is installed on each machine and detect if it's licensed. Yes, of course. Once it's installed, it's going to detect and it's going to check where it is installed, and you need to provide the licensing. Only if you manage the license, you can see the license count. Until then, you may not be able to see the license count. And does Desktop Central have the ability to detect what the product key for each software license? Yes, of course. So we have a separate report in inventory by which you can go and get the report of software product keys. So you may get the product keys report over here in order to get the key status. Well, so we have come to the end of the webinar for today, and trust the discussed topic was helpful for you to get more insight on the inventory. I would recommend you and request you to please go ahead and rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is going to be the best. And if you'd like to have the tagging, you can also add these values in your social media in order to get that. And about the next training, we are going to have the next training of remote control, which is going to take place on 8th of March on the given timing of 6:30 a.m. GMT and 11:30 a.m. of Eastern Daylight Time. Well, thank you very much for all your active participation, and please stay tuned to get in touch with us for the next training on March 8th. You all have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.